Hey, it's the Ray Rican, and today what I'm going to talk about. It's an important story. It's surrounding censorship, but it's scary. It's a really scary issue, and I'm going to start it from. Let's share this. I want to share my screen so you could see a couple of the articles that I'm talking about, and I know some people could complain. It's Breitbart. It's a biased source because they're right wing. Guess what? Like I always complain about the media. The mainstream media is biased to the left. So um, take it, take it what it is. But let's read this. It's here. Bakari. Microsoft and friends want to destroy online privacy. Microsoft has teamed up with a number of tech and media companies to create a system of tracing content around the internet that could destroy online privacy and anonymity, radically transforming the nature of the web. Excuse me, a little congested today. My allergies are acting up. According to Microsoft's press release, is partnered with several other organizations to form the coalition of content provenance and authenticity. Now, all these things sound nice, but you have here companies, corporations, unelected people who are determining what content is appropriate. And to me, that's terrible. Excuse me, I'm going to go through here. It goes here. Whether it's a meme, an audio remix, or a written article, the goal is to ensure that when content reaches the internet, it will come attached with a set of signals allowing its provenance, meaning authorship can be detected. Then there's so like I said, I'm gonna team this up with some of the other articles, kind of bring it all together. What I'm talking about, and I'm going to tie it in here with also another Breitbart article. Amazon quietly changed its content policy to include hate speech ban. Amazon, the world's dominant online retailer, quietly changed its content policy after August 10th last year to include a ban on hate speech. So here it goes. It goes. Amazon's previously prohibited products that promote, incite, or glorify hate or violence toward any person or group, but explicitly stated that the policy didn't apply to books. Its book policy used to contain no mention of hate speech, according to a version of the page archived on August 10th. The current content guidelines for books include a section against offensive content that reads, "We don't sell certain content, including content that we determine is hate speech, promotes the abuse or sexual exploitation of children, contains pornography, glorifies rape, blah, 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 advocates terrorism, or any other material we deem inappropriate or offensive." Amazon has been gradually ramping up its censorship over the past few years. It banned Mike Cernovich's documentary about media manipulation hoaxed, as well as independent conservative documentary Killing Free Speech. It also held back the release of Amanda Mullen's The Plot Against the President. More recently, Amazon attracted national controversy after banning When Harry Became Sally, responding to the transgender movement, a book by Dr. Ryan Anderson critiquing the science and ideology used to justify the progressive transgender rights movement. The banning of Mr. Anderson's book drew condemnation from GOP Senator Marco Rubio and Josh Hawley. Now, here's the whole thing. This is a book, if you can't even be allowed to have your book published, where is there's no free speech. Like I said, with I was talking, I was linking it, trying to link it together with this article here about destroying online privacy. It all comes together with our rights, which, with the online privacy, you're talking about, there's a Fourth Amendment. With this one, we're talking about our First Amendment. It's, what they're doing is allowing corporate, what's going on with this collusion between the left and big business is that they're colluding to take away our rights by using private corporations. That's what's going on. If you can't publish a book to disseminate your thoughts, it shouldn't be something where a publisher doesn't publish your book based on the idea. It should be not published because or it should be published and nobody buys it. Because if it's a bad idea, nobody's going to buy it. But they want to, stop these books from being published. They want to stop these websites from being published. Like they did with, banning Parler from Amazon Web Services, from Google and Apple Play stores. Where this is where it just keeps going and going. The dominoes are falling, and there goes our rights, step by step by step. You don't become, not that I'm comparing this to, Nazi Germany, not doing that. What I'm just trying to say is Nazi Germany didn't become Nazi Germany overnight. It took, it was a long process. When we look back now and we go, oh, look, it started with the end of World War I and the bad, and with the harsh treaty that sought to punish Germany for World War I, and it caused a ripple, and that's what created the power vacuum for eventually for Hitler to take over. Well, so like I said, it didn't happen overnight. This is what's going on. These companies are taking away our rights. It's not happening overnight. It's been happening little by little because people are okay with it. There's politicians that are okay with this going on, especially politicians on the left. I mean, you have, I'm sorry, I didn't bring this up. Let me search. Where's the one? What about the Democrats? What is it? Send letter to cable companies. There you go. Here we go. Democrats ask cable and streaming providers about their role in spreading misinformation ahead of the Capitol. This is just the story of they sent letters to the cable companies and the internet service providers talking about, they should basically get rid of Fox News, OANN, and Newsmax from their TV, from their services. And this is all going together because the Democrats who sent out that letter know very well that they can't pass that by law. So they're going by fiat and going to do this that way. And it just keeps snowballing. And where does it stop? I mean, look, here's a story about, which is Dr. Seuss's birthday today. 6 Dr. Seuss books that won't be published for racist images. You're talking about images from what? 60, wait, it was a 40. So we're talking about 80 years ago. Of course, the imagery is going to be, if you have a problem with that, then maybe go, maybe the Dr. Seuss people could change the imagery to update it. But it has to have context. This was guy that was being inclusive toward other people. Were they drawn quote unquote with some racist tendencies? Yes, now, but this was stuff that wasn't necessarily offensive back then. This was just the way things were drawn. I mean, anyone who sees like anime and stuff like that, characters are drawn, ridiculously sometimes to just because they can. And it, so excuse me, sorry about the sniffles. But yeah, so where does this censorship end? Where's the conclusion? When we're an authoritarian state, that we can't stop this anymore? And like I said, they're using private corporations, or they're using runarounds around the laws. I mean, that's like when I talk about when you're going about your Second Amendment, that they want to shield, they want to take away liability from gun companies, so like that the gun companies could be sued, so like that they can't afford to be in business. Oh well, you still have your Second Amendment. We just bankrupt every gun company from being able to manufacture guns to sell. So where do we stop this? This is going too far. And where will people finally put their foot down? This, here's, talking about, you can't have any privacy. So let's say, like right now, if I get banned from Twitter, I could create another account, another email account, set up a different Twitter. Uh, yeah, they say that you're not supposed to be able to do that. Obviously, if you're someone that's famous, you can't get away with that. But if you're someone that's not famous, you could just go create another account. If you didn't put any pictures of yourself, you'll be fine. But with this here, they want to be able to kind of, almost have like your own fingerprint to your computer. So it's like, hey, you go to this computer, you go to a different computer. It won't. I don't. It's not going to necessarily. I would have to buy a whole new computer, use a different computer or whatnot. Maybe they'll hold on to your IP address. Maybe a VPN might be an end around this, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, anyone who's read 1984 knows all the some of the some people are using it as a manual, not as a work of fiction. But here it goes to talking about, they're talking about trying to fight the misinformation and disinformation. According to Microsoft, the coalition was created for a single purpose: to stop the spread of disinformation, which in modern establishment journal speak means information that challenges the establishment narratives. Disinformation, based on how the word is used today, might as well be called dissident information. And here is the biggest fear is, if you're someone that disagrees with the prevailing orthodoxy, then you could get banned, and then you could get banned from everything. And that's why we have freedom of speech. It's not for the speech that we agree with. It's supposed to be for the speech that we disagree with. And if you can't have dissident speech, then guess what? Things are gonna, it's gonna snowball into an authoritarian state. You're gonna talk, how many, theories and how many ideas were taboo. I mean, the Earth circling around the sun, that was taboo. That was, against the current orthodoxy at the time. It took years. It took years of them of them suppressing it for it to finally get into the mainstream and be accepted. And so to say this whole thing about fighting disinformation, all you're saying is that you're afraid of bad ideas, and you shouldn't be afraid of bad ideas. You should be afraid of good. I mean, you're really afraid of bad ideas that might turn into good ideas down the line. So this needs to be fought very hard, because without freedom of speech, without freedom of being able to express yourself, we're doomed. We're doomed, because then, how are you going to get those? I mean, of course, there's going to be black markets and the black web, the dark web, whatever. There's always going to be these areas, because people going to want to express themselves. They're going to find a way, but you shouldn't be put into the back of the bus, so to speak. You shouldn't be canceled like that, because where are we going to go from there? Then we're going to end up going to a violent revolution, because what was it, when you don't make when peaceful revolution is not possible, or you make when, I forget that expression, but you get it. If you know, if you're gonna make it impossible to be able to just speak your express your ideas, um, people gonna fight it, and it's gonna, if you can't fight it by words, then the last resort is gonna people gonna fight. People gonna physically fight, and we should avoid that at all costs. It's what's going on right now. The way this country is going, it's scary. And some, the who's this is at the end of the day. This is what I'm going to say. Who benefits from a divided America? China. That's it. That's. I would like to know uh, how much China supports some of these crazy ideas that are out there that are dividing our country, because that would be really interesting to find out. So, hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you do, please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave comments. I try to answer back for whoever leaves comments. Uh, I appreciate the critique of my channel. All right. Well, have a good one.